Reese's Peanut Butter Cups were created in 1928 by their eponymous inventor, Harry Burnett Reese, and they've been incredibly popular ever since. It's hard to find exact updated rankings, but according to Wikipedia, in 2012, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups were the #1 selling global candy brand, with more than $2.5 billion in sales. And unquestionably, they remain at or near the top of any ranking of best-selling candy products. They also have to have one of the highest Q ratings. Unless you're actively allergic to peanuts, I think most people tend to enjoy that combination of peanut butter and chocolate, which Reese's own ads famously described as two great tastes that taste great together. More recently, Reese's ads have gone with a much simpler tagline: perfect. And perhaps they are. But if that's the case, why does Reese's keep screwing with perfection? The last 15 years or so have really been a boom time for snack brands rolling out variations on their products, which is great if you're a guy like me. And even a major legacy brand like Reese's has hardly been immune. So today I'm going to be looking at one of the newest varieties of Reese's, the Reese's Mallow-Top, which seems to be here kind of just in time for spring. I think these have been out for a couple of months. And then I'm going to be looking at one of the newest additions to the Reese's family, the Reese's Big Cup with Pretzels, which goes back about 6 months. And then I'm going to compare that to one of the original stuffed Big Cups, the Reese's Big Cup with Pieces, which is now a stalwart of the Reese's family at nearly 5 years old. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Mallow-Top, if for no other reason than it's a lot smaller. So this is marshmallow flavored cream, and then above milk chocolate. So you can sort of see there in the picture, you got the peanut butter cream in the middle, and then the marshmallow top layer and the bottom layer of kind of the regular Hershey's chocolate. So #1 ingredient is in fact peanuts, then you have milk chocolate, and there's really no specific ingredient that indicates marshmallow because of course marshmallow is basically just whipped sugar and gelatin. Now there is no gelatin in here, so this is more just marshmallow flavor. So it's naturally artificially flavored, so I assume they're kind of pumping something in there to make that taste like the marshmallow. But yeah, these are, like most Reese's products, I believe, gluten-free. It does not, yes, it actually says on the package, gluten-free. So these are gluten-free. These are not vegan because, of course, they have milk chocolate, but they are vegetarian because, again, there's no gelatin, even though they have the marshmallow flavor. So it's an interesting look when you get it out of the package. So there's the cup, and it really has, it looks like a white chocolate Reese's cup, which they have produced and perhaps are still producing. I guess it smells a little bit like marshmallow. I mean, it smells a lot like white chocolate, which of course isn't surprising because that basically is what this is. So my assumption would be this is pretty much just white chocolate to which we've then added some kind of artificial marshmallow flavor. It's actually a fairly thin layer. I mean, if you compare that to what was on the package, it looks a lot more kind of evenly distributed there. The comparison of the chocolate and the white chocolate. Not a lot of it there, but I don't know that you need a lot, so that's okay. The marshmallow flavor, such as it is definitely not overwhelming. And honestly, if you're going to go to the lengths of calling it Mallow-Top, to me it kind of seems like amp it up a little. Because I'm buying this specifically because it's supposed to taste like marshmallow. It doesn't seem like you would buy this and then complain that it tasted too much like marshmallow when it's saying right on the front of the package, hey, Mallow-Top, marshmallow cream. In fact, did they say marshmallow cream specifically? Because marshmallow flavored cream, which, okay, but yeah, I mean, This doesn't even make me think of cream, because it really is more just like white chocolate. You know, that's not cream. And I'm looking to see if there's kind of a little bit of a, I guess is there maybe a little layer in there? It's kind of hard to tell if under that white chocolate there is a small layer of marshmallow cream. I don't know. Let's see if it, I don't know if that really looks like anything to you. It might not, but there might be a little layer there that's actually the cream that is distinct from the peanut butter. I'm just not sure it's enough. You know, again, if you're going to go to the trouble, ramp up the marshmallow a little bit more. Yeah, so again, the marshmallow flavor, I'd like a little more. To the extent that I'm going to be reminded of like a fluffernutter, you know, like a peanut butter and marshmallow cream sandwich, if you're not familiar with that concoction. The marshmallow fluff is doing more work in that sandwich than the marshmallow cream is doing here. It's just not doing enough flavor-wise. I want some more in there. You know, this kind of just tastes like a regular Reese's peanut butter cup with, you know, slightly less rich chocolate because it's white chocolate instead of milk chocolate, and a little hint of marshmallow flavor, but not really that much. So, totally edible, but pretty unnecessary. Like if you really want something like this, as far as like you want to have this experience, what I might do is buy a regular Reese's peanut butter cup and get like a jar of marshmallow fluff and kind of take out like a little spoonful and kind of just spread it over the top and just eat it. And that, I think, will hit what this wants to do, but I think the flavor will probably be more what you're looking for if you are the sort of person who sees this and goes, ooh, marshmallow cream on top of Reese's. Because by itself, I don't think it's doing enough. So let's look at the Reese's Big Cups. I'm going to start with the Big Cup with Pieces because I want to kind of compare the Reese's Big Cup with Pretzels to the Reese's Big Cup with Pieces. There you go. Because I think these are two relatively similar products in terms of what they're kind of trying to do, which is sort of take that smooth peanut butter center and add this textural component to it that other Reese's products don't necessarily have. Now, there's another version of this, the Reese's Crunchy Cookie Cup, which I don't think I've actually had. But it's a similar, idea, right? You kind of got this crunchy texture in the middle of this otherwise smooth peanut butter cream. And when they announced the Pretzels one, they apparently announced a Reese's with potato chips in it. And apparently those are supposed to come out this month. So I haven't seen them yet, but look for, I guess, another episode of this show about peanut butter cups, because I probably have to try those when those come out. If for curiosity's sake only. All right, so here is the Big Cup. And if you want to get a sense for just how big that is, so here is the other marshmallow one. So this is a regular size Reese's cup. This is the Big Cup. They're close. Well, the Big Cup is bigger even in diameter, but certainly the thickness is where it really is happening. It's basically twice as tall. So if you have not had a Big Cup, that is how big they are. And the other difference is the Reese's Big Cup, each cup is 200 calories. The Pretzels, a mere 180, so, eating healthy. Little, basically a salad. Whereas by comparison, 90 calories a cup. So again, basically twice as much. All right, so Big Cup with Pieces. What is more satisfying in like the candy world than removing that Reese's wrapper and it kind of pops out of the divots? It's not just the best. So there you go. Well, they really are. I'm trying to think if I've had the Big Cup with Pieces before. I've had the minis with Pieces, and I suppose as you might expect, I feel like the minis with Pieces don't have pieces, because how do you really fit that in there? They have like shards of shell, which is fun in its own way, but this really has. I mean, that's a whole, it's a mini piece, I would say, but that's a whole piece in there. It is a fairly subtle addition texture-wise, because, the thin candy shell, it's a thin candy shell. Boy, that is pretty salty. Of course, there's like double peanut butter in here because there's the extra peanut butter inside the pieces. But yeah, you really get a lot of salt in that peanut butter. Not the worst thing in the world. I don't want these to be like just tooth-achingly sweet, but it is interesting when you haven't had these for a while to note just how salty that is. It is interesting because Reese's stuffed with pieces sounds very entertaining. Like, man, this is going to be so cool. And it's fine. I like it. But the pieces aren't doing that much, right? Again, like I said, thin candy shell. Thin. It's a thin shell. Maybe even thinner in this format because these are like mini pieces. So there is a little bit of textural difference in the middle compared to a regular Reese's cup, for sure. There is. It's pretty minor. So, your mileage may vary on what the value add is there. I would not tell anyone not to get these. They're great. But it's one of those things where it's like, these are great because Reese's cups are great, right? What you're getting here over just a Reese's big cup, the difference is probably kind of minimal. So with that said, Reese's stuffed with pretzels. Now, one big upset here, and one reason why I heard about these in the first place, my sister, who you will recall from the Oreo episode that I'm sure you all watched, my sister is gluten-free, and she noted that these Reese's stuffed with pretzels are also gluten-free, and in fact, there you go. They are gluten-free, which is weird because I do not think of pretzels as a gluten-free food. But if you look at the ingredients, they apparently made these pretzels out of brown rice flour and potato starch, because those are pretty much the ingredients that are in here that are not in this one, the Reese's with pieces. Once again, nice large cup. I'm gonna show it this time. Ooh. Just do some ASMR videos. ASMR. I unwrap Reese's cups for 10 hours. Okay. It smells like a Reese's cup. Well, that is quite crunchy. Perhaps you can hear that. These are okay. So I guess a couple things about them. You do get a decent crunch going in there, as you probably heard. And it's relatively crispy and crunchy. It's kind of mostly what I would want out of that texture, but it's hard to put my finger exactly on what's wrong with it, but something's wrong with it. And, I think that's the gluten-free talking, which, again, no offense to people who are gluten-free, but gluten-free products do not always measure up to their gluten-containing counterparts in terms of exactly replicating the eating experience, because they're missing a key ingredient. While these pretzels are still crispy and crunchy, even submerged in the peanut butter, to me, it just seemed pretty clear that something was a little off. I'm not even sure I can really describe it. It's one of those things where it's just like I kind of just know it when I see it, or in this case, taste it. But it was just that tiny bit not quite right. like the crunch of a pretzel is not quite the same as this crunch. This is a crunch. If what you are looking for is a peanut butter cup with a nice kind of crunchy interior, these do that. If you are thinking there are pretzel bits in here, if you are at all a consumer of pretzels, and I mean regular non-gluten-free pretzels, certainly, I think something will ring a little ersatz to you. Not by much, but a little bit. Enough to make the experience just weird enough that I'm not really excited to have it again. I mean, I will eat the other one of these cups, no problem. I'm not going to throw it away because I'm so weirded out by it or anything like that. But I'm not rushing out to buy these again. That is for sure. So ultimately, from a comparison standpoint, the Reese's Stuffed with Pieces and the Reese's Stuffed with Pretzels both kind of fail to totally satisfy me in different ways. But if I'm going to buy one again, it's going to be the Reese's Stuffed with Pieces because I do enjoy that thin shell, candy shell texture as just that slight added mouthfeel or whatever you want to call it, resistance against the teeth, more than the pretzels, which are just kind of throwing me off. Neither totally get there, neither are terrible, but, you know, if I'm forced to choose which one disappoints me less, I guess, which is meaner sounding than it probably needs to be. Again, these are both totally fine products. But if I'm going to buy one again, it's going to be the Reese's with Pieces. I just prefer that texture, subtle as it is. So that's it for this episode of Flax on Snacks. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Look out for more coming. I've got a couple of Doritos products that I'm going to be looking at. I have one of the Snickers brownie bars that are out now. Like I said, the Reese's Cup with chips is apparently coming, so, you know, look for that when those arrive. And then I've got a couple things for another spicy episode because I like torturing myself for video purposes, I guess. But yeah, we'll see you next time.